Good morning, students. Welcome to the Beck module number 1, Business English. In order to access to the module, you have to click here in this for icon. Once you're there, you're going to find the general information related to the module, the learning outcomes of it, the competences, the syllabus, the score percentage, and the delivering task groups. Going down in module, you're going to find the important documents for the course, the agenda in which you're going to find all the activities related to each class or to each lesson. Then you're going to see the 3 lessons that are going to be covered during this course: lesson number 1, lesson number 2, lesson number 3, and the pop quizzes. In lesson number 1, you will find all the activities related to it, and the important thing is that you have time to do all the activities for the whole lessons since February 29 to March 13. March 14, you're going to have your first and second partial exam. So in order to start our class today, you're going to click on the icon that says Lesson 1, and you're going to click on the introduction part. Here you have a forum in which you're going to introduce yourself. You're going to write your name and your last name, the age, your job, hobbies, or any important information that could help you to introduce yourself. Here I wrote mine, and I put a link in which you will find more information about me. I'm going to be your English teacher and tutor during this course. If you have any questions or doubts, remember always to write me to my email, so in that way I can answer all the questions and doubts in a very swift way. Then you have the resources here in this little part. Here you're going to have information about the unit, PDF, videos, and so on that you can check before starting the course. Okay? After that, you have here another folder in which you're going to find the study guide. For each lesson, you're going to have a study guide that will guide you in order to identify all the contents that you're going to see during the course and the activities that you have to do it. Okay, so you can download it and then you start checking it. So, starting our lesson, it's about unit number 1, Human Resources, Staff Training and Development. We're going to focus on vocabulary, grammar, reading, listening, writing, and speaking. For vocabulary, we're going to see words related to job training, values scheme, promotion, training budget, and learning goals. In grammar, we're going to write about making suggestions, why don't we, plus infinitive, why not, plus infinitive, how about, plus ing form, what do you think or do you agree? For reading, we're going to read about recruitment brochure, training at Deloitte Touche, listening conversation about a training course, writing expression personal opinions, comparison of adjective and making suggestions, speaking discussion who should pay for a training, and preparing staff training scheme. The instructions are very easy to follow. The study guide lesson number 1 is based on Unit 1, Human Resources, Staff Training and Development. This lesson number 1 includes the following topics, the ones that I mentioned before, the contents. And in this lesson, there are some activities that you have to accomplish. A poll, a class participation number 1 and class participation number 2, workshop number 1 and workshop number 2, homework number 1, practice number 1, and practice number 2. The whole score of this guide is over 10, and you must follow the instructions given for each task. Delayed activities will be scored over 7.5 points. So in order to start this lesson, there is a poll that you have to do. The poll, you will going to find it here. I'm going to go back to our module, okay? And is here, engagement activity, the poll, okay? Just you have to answer a question, okay? And choose the correct option. Here it says, which of the benefits do you think will be most attractive to someone who have just finished their studies and looking for a new job? You have to choose the answer according to the question. You can use 1 or 2 answers if you want, and then immediately you're going to find the final score at the end. Okay, so once you have done that, we're going back to the study guide. And we're going to focus on some specific vocabulary that are related to human resources and staff development and training. The first word is about bonus scheme. According to the definition, a bonus scheme is a scheme in a company or other organization according to which employees receive a bonus if they meet specific targets. An example of a sentence in which we include this word could be bonus schemes encouraged but business ethics and morals went out of the window. This sentence was expressed in The Sun in 2008. In a sign of discontent, 33% of the investors voted against the new bonus scheme for top executive yesterday, expressed in Time Sunday in 2013. Synonyms for this term could be used like perk, benefit, or reward. We know this word as bonus, as something that is given extra while you're doing your job in a company. Another term is responsibility. If you have responsibility for something or someone, or if they are your responsibility, it is your job or duty to deal with them and to take decisions related to them. Examples of the sentence could be each manager had the responsibility for just under 600 properties, and we need to take responsibility for looking after our health. Synonyms for responsibility could be, as it was mentioned before, job, duty, obligation, or liability. Okay? Then we have salary. A salary is the money that someone is paid each month by their employer, especially when you're in a profession such as a teaching, law, or medicine. Examples of sentences could be the lawyer was paid a huge salary, and the government has decided to increase the salary for all of the civil servants. Synonym for salary could be earnings, fee, or income. Now, it's very important to mention some difference between the words salary, pay, wages or wage, and income. Professional people and office workers receive a salary, which is paid monthly. However, when talking about someone's salary, you usually give them an annual figure. I'm paid a salary of £15,000 a year. Pay is generally a noun, which can use to refer to the money you get from your employer for doing your job. Manual workers are paid wages or wages. Manual workers could be like builders, painters, and so on. The plural is more common and in singular, especially when you're talking about the actual cash that someone receives. Every week, he handed all his wages in cash to his wife. Wages are usually paid and quoted as hourly or weekly sum. A starting wage of $5 an hour. Your income consists of all the money you receive from all sources, including your pay. So these are the basic difference between these terms. Salary are paid from professional people, as we mentioned before, doctors, teachers, lawyers, and so on. A pay is a noun that you use for give money according to your employer gives when you're doing the job. The wage is specifically for manual workers like builders or painters. An income is the money that you receive from all of the sources. Okay? Then we have another term, an in-house training scheme. A scheme for teaching people the skills in a particular field or profession that the place where people work. Here I have an extra word. 1, 2, 3. Okay, examples. You need more training scheme for young people. Okay, so the Sun wrote this sentence in 2014. It's the same old policy. Put people on training schemes and reduce unemployment figures. The Sun 2010. The Sun is a very important journal in UK. Synonyms for this word or expression could be used like coaching, instructions, or workshops. It's like training, like going to a specific place where you're going to be taught about the content and you can develop some other skills. And the expression is an in-house training scheme. Okay? Then we have the opportunity to travel. A work and travel program is an organized experience in which participants have an opportunity to keep their jobs and work remotely while traveling the world. Examples could be my job offers me opportunity to travel every semester. The opportunity to travel helps to develop other type of skills. In this case, the opportunity to travel is the one that you have at your job that allows you to visit different kind of countries and try to promote the product or service according to the company where you work. Synonyms for this expression could be voyage, moving, or convey. Then we have the next term, a permanent contract. A permanent employee is someone you have offered a permanent job to, and atypical you will have given them a contract of employment or at the minimum a written statement of employment. Examples of this term used in sentences could be say, I've been working here since 2012 and at least I've got a permanent contract. A permanent contract relies on the fact that people can be recruited easily. Examples of this word could be contract for indeterminate duration, signatory, and consignment. Similar to Spanish is the contract of when you're being hired and you have this sense of can work for a very long term. So as a result, you sign this permanent contract. Long holidays. The long period of holiday in the summer during which universities, law courts, etc. are closed. Examples of this term could be say, warning, we're giving that TV line and the rest should go on a long holidays. Really, it's no line. It's an expression giving an article, a business article specifically. And are you going to keep working or do you plan to take a long holidays until you open the dinner? Lost on Joel Rose are for the rich, another expression from the book. Long holidays is the period of time you have these kind of vacations after you have done a specific time working in the company. Synonyms for this could be long vacations, similar to long holidays. A rapid promotion. If you're giving a promotion or a promotion in your job, you're giving a more important job or rank in the organization that you work for. For example, a technical background meant a longer wait before upward movement followed by a relative rapid promotion. This was expressed in a conceptual view of the human resources management, strategic, objective, environment, and functions. Another example of this term used in sentences would be say, after a series of rapid promotions, he moved to the Great Northern Railway. In 1905, as a carriage and wagon superintendent, times Sunday, times 2014, as similar to Spanish could be said that rapid promotion is the opportunity that you can achieve other positions and acquire a great salary if it's necessary. Synonyms for this term could be used advance, backing, or boost. Then we have another term related to recruitment brochure. When we're talking about ability, we're talking about the quality or skill that you have which makes it possible for you to do something. Examples could be the public never had faith in his ability to handle the job, or he has the ability to bring out the best in others. Synonyms for ability could be, say, competences, capability, or capacity. Then we have the term of certificate. An official document that you receive when you have completed a course of study of training. The qualification that you receive is something also called certificate. It's that document that you receive when you finish a course or training. For example, to the right of the fireplace are various framed certificates and the postgraduate certificate of education. You can also call it like a diploma. A course is a series of lessons or lectures on a particular subject. An example, a course in business administration, and shortly to begin a course of the modern novel. It will be called a program or scheme. Remember that a course includes material that you have to read or activities that you have to accomplish and can complete, and after that you can receive a diploma. Okay, personal development, I'm going to switch the word here. Okay, personal development, I'm going to put it here. Doesn't matter, personal development. Okay, it's the gradual growth or formation of something. For example, an ideal system for studying the development of the embryo. Okay, in this case, it's called to biology. And first is to raise Islam's development. Okay, when talking about personal development, we can include different aspects, such like goals, planning, motivation, training, creativity, develop, vision, and learning. You can reach this personal development while you're working in a company or even when you're starting up your own entrepreneurship. And then, pace by pace, you are acquire these other aspects related to personal development. Synonyms for this word are called progress, improvement, and advancement. Okay? The next term that we have is experience. Is the knowledge or skill in a particular job or activity which you have gained because you have done the job or activity for a long time. Examples of sentences that use this expression or term could be, he has also had managerial experience at every level. His mothers had plenty of experience taking care of the twins for him. Synonyms for that could be background, know-how, and wisdom. When we're talking about hands-on, we're talking about an experience or work involves actually doing a particular thing rather than just talking about it or getting someone else to do it. Examples of sentences using this term could be 99% of the primary pupils now have hands-on experience with computers. This hands-on management approach often stretches its workdays from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Hands-on, it's something that it's not theoretical. That's a sign of consent, it's practical. Like you can handle with your hands and put in action what you have learned and figure it out how it works. When we're talking about knowledge, it's information and understanding about the subject which a person has or which all people have. Examples of sentences that use this term could be she told Parliament she had a knowledge of the affair, or could be of the affair also, and the quest for scientific knowledge. Knowledge, words that are related to knowledge could be analysis, solutions, education, information, experience, and learning. Okay, could be also use terms like awareness, learning, and insights. Then we have qualifications. You need for an activity or task are the qualities and skills that you need to be able to do it. Responsibility and reliability are necessary qualifications. That time with him is my qualification to write this book. Words related to qualification could be skills, competences, and capability. Okay? Then we have the term training. Is someone who's employed at a low level in a particular job in order to learn the skills needed for that job. Examples could be he is 24 years old trained reporter. My first job was as a graduate trainee with the bank. Training could be intern and apprentice, training a mentor to support, to cooperation, and to improve. Words related to trainee are learner, pupil, and apprentice. And then we have training, and figured out the different ways that are written. Trainee is the person who received a training, okay? And it says that training is the process of learning the skills that you need for a particular job or activity. Examples would say he called for much higher spending on education and training, and Kennedy had no formal training as a decorator. Words related to training could be coaching, guidance, instructions. More terms related to recruitment are very specific business expressions that will help you to boost your speaking while you're expressing your ideas to someone, specifically in the advantage speaking part. Throw you in at the deep end means to make someone start at a new and a difficult job or activity without helping them or preparing them for it. I believe you gain confidence by being thrown in at the deep end. Okay, synonyms for this is like let down, inhibited, or inconvenience. Okay. Another expression that it's called is promote from within means that the employer had stated a commitment to consider current employees for promotion opportunities before hiring candidates from outside of the organization. Promoting from within the organization is typically management goal, however, not a rule. It's like the opportunity that you have to have a better position in the company, but it's not quite sure. Okay? It has been said that I can promote from within in this company. Synonyms for this term could be used like encourage, endorse, or stimulate. Come through the ranks means to rise to a position of leadership by working up through the sequence of lower positions. Examples of sentences using this expression could be he came up through the ranks to become a corporate executive. The general came up through the ranks. Okay? Synonyms to rise to a position, starting from a low position to a higher one in a very specific period of time. Then we have become a high flyer. Are people who have achieved a notable success, especially those who have become successful more quickly than in normal. The term is also used to describe a speculative stock that has reached a high price in a short time. High flyers in the industry typically earn 25% more than their colleagues. It's the person who have achieved a very important success in the company and very, very fast. So examples for this term could be bootstrapper, go ahead, or go getter. These are various slang ways to express that. Then we have another expression, shuffle at the ladder. Move people inside a company to higher positions. He shuffles at the ladder as soon as he arrives at the company. Synonyms from this expression could be advance, flourish, or progress. Okay? Then we're going to focus now on terms that are related to a training course. Different expressions that could be used in this aspect of training course. A tailor-made, it's made or fitted especially to a particular use or purpose. Example, a tailor-made course. Synonyms for this expression could be skilled, talented, or able. When you're talking about a tailor-made, it's something that it's done according to your needs or your interests. So you can take it because it's related to what you need or want. Okay? Then we have another expression, learning goals. Should be stated in terms of what the students will understand and what they will be able to do as a result of the lesson. Learning goals are what you want your student to be able to do at the end of the course. Synonyms for learning goals could be objectives and aims. Learning goals are related to your knowledge, your abilities, and your values. Okay? Then we have training budget. I'm going to switch it here. I'm sorry. I'm going to write the word training budget. Training budget. Okay? So training budget, it's managing training budgets are resources effectively ensures the personnel have the skills and competencies required to complete your task. The training budget includes the direct and indirect costs required to analyze, design, develop, implement, evaluate, and maintain a course and materials. It's the amount of money that you need in order to design a course for your employees. So it's the money you're going to invest in them. Our company has determined the training budget for this year. Okay? Synonyms, we have financial plan and allocate. Okay? Then we have hands-on training, similar to hands-on that we've seen before. Hands-on training is one method of educational system and business alike, used to help teach people to learn a certain task. It provides real-world experience by allowing the trainee to get her hands directly whatever she's learning, creating or a sense of empowerment. Example of a sentence used this term is, this is a hands-on training course, very practical, no theoretical. Synonyms similar to hands-on, practical, no theoretical. It says applying all your knowledge in a specific case or situation that is related to business or education. So in that way, you can prove how good you are applying this knowledge and giving solutions to these cases or situations. We're talking about computer literate. It's having sufficient knowledge and skills to be able to use your computers, familiar with the operation of computers. Sentence that could be used this term could be nowadays or graduate or computer literate. Synonyms, computer expert, computer literacy, and computerate. It's your ability to manage computers, and not only computers, could be also internet and all these apps that are useful to boost economy nowadays. Core skills. When talking about core skills are the essential skills that young people need to be fully prepared for life and work in global economy. Sometimes referred to as deep learning of the first century skills. They introduce young people to new ways of working, new ways of thinking, and new ways of living in a global world. Examples of a sentence that use these: students need to develop core skills before starting a new job. Core skills could be working with others, communication, problem solving, numeracy, technology, and so on. Even the management of language could be related like a core skills. You can say synonyms for these like basic skills, main skills, and strength central skills. Okay? Now we're going to focus on words related to reading of Deloitte Touche. One expression is called in the fast lane to promotion. It's getting a higher position in the company quickly. Examples of this could be said he was in the fast lane to promotion due to the fact that now he's a manager. Synonyms for these could be rapid promotion, fast track, or advancement. Then we have on the job training and development. Training inside the company, it means. Example of this term used in sentences is OPIX learned the skills necessary to be a top music producer through this on the job training. Okay? Synonyms for the term could be work experience, practical training, or apprenticeship. Then we have has gone out of his way, has made an special effort. This is an expression to mention that. Examples in a sentence could be he has gone out of his way because he spent hours and hours finishing the report. Synonyms fall over backwards, take a special pains, or learn over backwards. Then we have monitors. Another term that could be said in order to replace monitors could be supervising. Example of a sentence in which you can use this term is the CEO always monitors the staff in order to identify their performance. Synonym could be observe, watch, or keep an eye on. That's a very slang or initial way that you can use in order to replace monitors. Then we have internal training, training inside the company. It means examples of a sentence that can use this term could be we have internal training once in a month. Okay, synonyms could be in-house training, in-source training, or in a company training. Then we have a graduate trainees. Here, okay, trainees, people who have studied in the university or are learning the job. Examples could be graduate trainees require a lot of experience in order to be a CEO in the future. Synonyms could be apprentice, learner, or pupil. Then we have appraisals, are also called assessments or evaluations. Example in a sentence could be the Human Resources Department constantly appraises. So instead of saying evaluations or assessments, you can say appraisals. And the verbs appraise. Synonyms could be evaluation, test, or opinion. Then we have another term that is called fully funded, completely paid for. I offer you a fully funded service for your internet needs required by the manager. You can use other words like well-founded, full-tone, and ill-founded. Another term could be is workload, amount of work. It is much better idea to prioritize your workload so that you focus first on the tasks with the most immediate deadlines and those that are most important. Words related to workload could be assignment and call of duty. So we have seen different terms related to human resources and staff development, the example of sentences that you can use these terms, and at the same time the synonyms. What is important of learning this vocabulary is that most of these words will appear in exercises of reading, listening, writing, and you can use in speaking. The idea of a business English training course in this case is to start learning these kind of words and try to use it while you are speaking, for example, or try to figure it out when you're reading. Because this kind of words are the ones that you're going to see in the back actions exam for the University of Cambridge. Okay? So now we're going to move to reading tasks. One of the reading tasks that in the back vantage exam you're going to figure it out, it's reading task number 4. In reading task number 4, you're going to have an article with some gaps, okay? And what you have to do in this activity is to read the article first in order to get them an idea, and after that, you have to select a correct word that could suit better here. The tricky issue is that some of the words options that you're going to find are synonyms. That's very important to figure it out first as synonyms in the business vocabulary, because you can identify not only the meaning but all the other words that are related to it. So, as I mentioned before, the tricky part of this is that as all these words are synonyms, you have to select the correct word that can suit better here. And one trick or one tip to do it is to figure it out the preposition of words that comes before. Okay, these kind of words are called collocations. Collocation are words that are often found together, but which are no fixed expression. Collocations may be an adjective with nouns, for example here, title, deadline. Adverb with a verb, for example, reason sharply, or a verb with a noun, for example, repay his debts. So the important thing here is to figure it out, these kind of collocations, and try to put each word in each gap. The one that sounds better, it's the one that is the answer. Generally, it's one tip that most of the Becca students do in order to select the word. Okay, just for now, I am going to show you the structure of this task. In the next lessons, I'm going to figure it out more suggestive techniques to face this part of the backvantage. For this model number one, the issue is that you're going to identify the structure of the backvantage exam for reading and listening, and for the further models, we're going to focus specifically in each aspect. Okay. So this is reading task 4. Another task in the reading is reading task 2. Change it here, reading task 2. This has a different structure. Here you have an article in which some sentences were taken out. Okay? So your mission here is to select the correct sentence that could switch logically in the order of sequence in this article. This is one of the most harsh activities in the backvantage due to the fact that you have to identify the coherence and logical events according to the article that you have to face. Generally, one is given, example G, so then you have 5 remained. But you have to select 5, which means that one extra is given that could be a distractor for you. Okay? So, one option to face this basically is to read the whole article, okay, and take the general idea, and after that, read the options here and try to read independently each paragraph. And then while you're reading each option, try to check which one could be related in order to follow the whole sequence. We're going to practice this part in the other lessons, but as I mentioned before, the important thing is to identify the structure of, in this case, reading part 2. Okay? So we already seen reading part 4 and then reading part 2. When we're talking about speaking, okay, it is very necessary to include words in order to give opinions. The backvantage speaking part requires you some questions that you have to give information but no isolated ideas. B2 students generally, in order to give a very fast answer, only give very punctual information. But this situation allows you not to get a higher score. So in order to acquire a higher score, it's necessary to include this language or use language in order to give opinions, agreeing and disagreeing. For example, I think would be the most attractive because. Always give a reason. You can use the term because or in order to for giving your reason that supports your answer. Another way to give opinions could be this phrase, I'm not sure about that, but for me, you give your opinion would be more useful than because. Okay? And another term could be, perhaps you're right, and I don't think it's an important as. For example, I think that training in a company would be the most attractive because it allows employees to boost their competences. So in this example that I gave, I use those terms. So try to include these terms while you're speaking on the activities, and you have to give your opinions, because in that way you can give extra detail and extra information that will support your main idea. Okay? And in the case are you going to make suggestions, some questions, for example, here you have making suggestions, why don't we plus infinitive? For example, why don't we run a computer skill course? So if you see here in the structure, we have the why don't we plus a verb in infinitive. In this case is run. Then we have why not plus infinitive. Why not ask for suggestion from the staff? Here you have the why not expression plus the verb in infinitive. In this case is ask. We're talking about how about plus ing form. How about running? In this case, running, the verb is in ing form, and then you have the rest of the expression of the sentence. Okay? Then, what do you think or do you agree? You're going to use these kind of languages specifically when you are dealing the task number 4 with your partner. But it's very important to figure it out the ways that you can ask questions, because it's the only way that you can promote your partner to speak and have a very cooperative communication in speaking. Okay, so these are very important issues to do. So basically, this is information about lesson number 1. And now I'm going to show you the activities that you have to accomplish. First of all, you have a class participation. Number 1, you have to create a glossary in which you have to put all the words in this unit. Okay, you can copy from the PowerPoint here the words and just include the definitions. This glossary will help you to remember the words that we've seen in the unit, and will help you to study for them at the end of not this course, but when you're facing the big matters exam at the end. You can transfer the words. Okay, transfer the words from the PowerPoint presentation to the glossary, and this will be scored over 10. Then you have a second activity. You have a class participation number 2. Okay, this is a questionnaire. You have to read the questions carefully and answer the questions related to some words of the unit. Then you have a workshop number 1, a reading about go anywhere you want to go. In Moodle, you have to read and answer the questions carefully. Okay, then you have a workshop number 2. Okay, I have a workshop number 2 here. Workshop number 2 about recommend brochure. And then you have a homework I'm going to show you here in the Moodle. Okay, so the back is homework. Okay, in which you have to record a video answering these questions. How long you have worked in the same company, studied in the same college where you are now, what training courses you have done and when you did them, what kind of courses would be most useful, how to choose who should you go on the courses, and whether the courses should be happening during the working time or free time. These questions you're going to read and then you're going to answer by doing the video. That will be the homework. So in that you can remember, to answer these questions, try to use the useful language. Okay? So in that way you can include extra information. Then you have some practices here. Okay, you have a practice number 1, a crossword game. Sorry, it's not a letter soup, it's a crossword. So in the crossword, you can play and practice the words that we see in the course. Remember, when you finish the crossword, take the picture and upload your score in Moodle. Then you have 2 Kahoots. Kahoot 2 related to the vocabulary. Here you have to pin, you have to download the app Kahoot. Then you register at Kahoot, and then you enter the pin given here. You play it, and then you upload the picture of your score. Then you have here practice number 3 at Kahoot. I mean 4 Kahoots, 3, practice number 4, and practice number 5. As I mentioned before, all the activities are given here. So you can follow the guides of the activities. Okay, starting right here. Starting right here. and then you click in every icon in order to do the activities. For the questionnaires, you have the opportunity to do it twice. The highest score is the one that's going to be recorded for us. Okay, and the other ones you have to do the games or even to upload the screen, the captures of your score, or even record the videos. So, if you have any question, remember always write me. If you have any difficulties in managing the Moodle, write me. I will going to help you in the whole course. Remember that these activities will end until March 13, 2020. So be aware to accomplish the task under time and be very responsible in order to complete these activities. Okay? Thank you and see you in the next lesson. Bye.